Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcasts with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Future Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Juliette Lamar, and joining us today is Neville Boston. He is the CEO at Reviver Auto. Welcome, Neville.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. A pleasure is ours. I'm so excited to share your product with our audience. So why don't you go ahead and explain to them what it is, what Reviver Auto is?
So what Reviver Auto is the first digital electronic license plate. We started working with the Department of Transportation back in DMV back in 2008 with our initial conversation. And it was just about over-air registration, being able to do it remotely. And then the product is morphed in to the ability to do parking and tolling, unlimited cause plates and specialty plates, and then being able to send amber alerts and silver alerts and inclement messaging that you can send out through the plate. So it's become kind of a connected platform that's connected to your car, and it's visible from the outside. I think that's what makes it unique and different.
It's so interesting, and just for our listeners, it looks like an LED screen on the back of your car where your license plate would be. So nothing really changes too badly. It looks exactly like a license plate, but it can change. And hopefully this will cut down on several issues. The first thing that's popping into my mind is the DMV, how much I dislike having to go there and send in registration and all this. Is one of the purposes to eliminate, say, that aspect of being a driver?
It's it's about just simplification. I mean, you can use the app now to be able to communicate in regards to doing your registration. If you wanted to get a cause or a specialty plate, you can do that through the application as well. If you wanted to change the background from a white background with black lettering or a black background with white lettering, you're able to do that. So it's very interactive. And then also from a safety perspective, if somebody tried to remove the plate, you would get an automatic message sent by SMS or to your email to find out if you were removing it to put it on another vehicle and then have it reprovisioned. If it wasn't you, then a stolen message could come up to say that the plate has been stolen, and because it has GPS, it can track where the plate's going. So there's a whole safety aspect to having a plate.
That's fantastic. I have had my plate stolen off my car, and it was really strange. And this would have been a lot easier if someone would have said, "Hey, there's no plate on your car," because I didn't even notice it for a little bit until I got pulled over. I was like, "Oh, I don't even know that was off there." Give us some customer benefit.
Well, customers, I mean, the thing is being able to interact with your plate. You're able to be able to, like I said, change the background, be able to put banners on the bottom of your plate, Happy Father's Day, Happy Mother's Day. And then I think a big thing is that because you have real-time compliance, you're able to pay monthly instead of yearly, so you can kind of aggregate your costs. In California, it's a big deal because the VLF fees, vehicle licensing fees, are going up at the end of the year. So by $25 to $150. So being able to aggregate those costs and pay monthly instead of yearly, I think, is a really big deal. And it just gives you a way of interacting with your plate that you didn't have before. You have a platform that can support, your tolling, parking, any kind of specialty plates that you want, and it's right there, on one application.
Super simple to use, very easy. There's also, you have different things for businesses to use this plate. What are some of the unique features for the business?
So if you're a business, small, medium business, you want to know where your vehicles are. So you're able to track where your vehicles are going through the GPS. It has a GPS and an accelerometer. It also has an LTE connection, so you're connected to the cloud. So you're able to know where your vehicle is. You're able to do registration over air. And with fleet, that's a big deal because if your vehicle is misplated, it's really difficult because it takes manpower to go out. Now you can do all of those changes over air. And your registration can be done over air, so you don't have to put stickers on your vehicle anymore. And then when the vehicle is legally parked, If you're a business, say like a Comcast or Joe's Pizza or something like that, when your vehicle is legally parked, you can actually have targeted messaging going down to your plate. So there's a whole interaction around the technology, the plate, and the vehicle that is just wholly unique.
The big thing that's popping up in my mind right now is time saving. This is going to save so much time for its users.
Absolutely, and it's time and then familiarity. We use apps for everything. Like I do my banking off my banking app. Whenever you register for anything, you do it off apps that you have on your phone. And this would be taking the DMV process into the 21st century because you're doing everything off an app. And it's nice because you don't have to wait for the mail to come to get your sticker. Once you can update it remotely. So you have an interaction that, wasn't there before for you. And then, I think what's really cool is that if you want to support good causes like breast cancer or the whale tail plate, or, Tahoe Blue, you're able to have 5, 6, 10 different plates instead of just one. And you could change them out on a monthly basis if you'd like. So it just gives you a different kind of interaction.
So much customization is available, and that's very nice. And I like that you can, support different causes. You don't have to choose just one. That's huge.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's important. And then I think something that we don't really talk about as much is that the fact that you can do amber alerts and silver alerts, and talk about like inclement weather and be able to push that messaging, it brings it into the community aspect. So we're looking out for each other. So it's a way in which if somebody was, in distress or something and you could see it based on, what was going on with the plate, then you could actually do something to potentially help. So it's a different way of us looking at community as a whole.
Exactly. Now, walk me through a user experience. What does it take to put this plate on your vehicle, and when you want to purchase a different vehicle or whatnot, how does that all work, and the interaction with your phone?
Yeah, so for the plate, if you're buying a new car, we're selling these through dealerships. So the regular process that you go through to get a car, you would have this plate, and the information when your actual plate comes would just be downloaded automatically. So the same process you would go through to register it when you buy a new vehicle will be incorporated, but you would have this digital plate. At a dealership, they would actually affix it because you're looking for 12-volt power, consistent power. So they would do an installation like doing a radio installation on the back of your vehicle, install the plate, and get it connected. And then once the plate number was given to you by the DMV, it would automatically download on your plate. And then once you did that, you would have the ability to be invited and get your app either off Google Play or through the iPhone store, because we have both iOS and Android applications that you can have. And then it allows you to see kind of where you are. It allows you to see when your plate is due, because it'll give you that information. And then it will allow you to customize it, and you can do it all through your application. And then if you have a used car and you're getting it put on, basically we would ping the DMV to make sure the VIN and the license plate number matched. And once we did that, we could actually download the image to your plate, and then you're off and running. So it's a really simple process.
Going back to the power, so does the power have its own? Does it have its own power, or is it taken from the car? There's no fear of draining a battery or anything.
No, and the thing about the technology that we're using bistable, monochromatic display. So think about like an e-reader. The reason why we went with this particular technology is that it has no draw on your battery whatsoever. The image of itself will stay forever unless there's power given to it to change. So it operates just like a regular metal license plate.
All right, well, that's pretty simple enough. And where is this available? Is it just in the U.S.? Are you planning on going internationally?
Yeah, so great question. So where we are now is that we're selling in dealerships in California. We also have them for small to medium businesses and FMCs, which are fleet management companies. So we're working with like Galpin Motors, the Pendragon stores, Cooney Chevrolet and Cadillac, and about 15 other dealerships in California. And then we have them on Wavecar, Envoy, which are car sharing programs. We also have it on the city of Sacramento, has it on their electric fleets. And then we have it with Morris Trucking and North Bay Landscaping and a host of other, small and medium businesses. So it's in California. We have it in Arizona on the Department of Transportation vehicles, and we'll be selling in dealerships come September. And then we passed legislation in Florida and Texas. So we're, looking to have further engagement with them next year. And then Washington State as well. And then there's another state on the West Coast and two more on the East Coast that will be in before the end of the year. We signed a proof of concept with Dubai, so we have plates on the road there right now. And then we've had conversations with both Australia and Canada. So things are moving really quickly.
In the not too distant future, we'll be seeing these plates all over the place. This is really exciting.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really, really excited about it. I think the technology will allow us to do a lot of really interesting things. I think there are applications that you can do with AVs as well from a communication standpoint. So we're just excited to be, kind of working as a team. I think the thing that I haven't talked about a lot that I think is really important is that we developed a true public-private partnership. We worked with the Department of Transport, DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. We've worked with law enforcement. We've worked with the Department of Transportation, and we've worked with legislators. And I think it's a different way of kind of interacting because most people run away from that, but we actually ran towards it because we were able to find collaborative ways to actually work together. And if you come in with that type of spirit, I think it makes it really easy for things to get done. With that being said, there's still going to be a process. It took 3.5 years to pass legislation in California, but I think the work and the effort was worth it because you develop a relationship along the way. So and then it actually gives you a platform to actually speak from because you've taken the time to actually do it right. It's actually working in collaboration instead of working in a silo.
Well, absolutely. You're taking the time to build the relationships because you are looking for a long-term relationship. You're not just trying to pass these things just to get them on the road and get going. You want this to be a long-term solution to the problems that you're seeing with regular license plates.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's fundamentally always the difference is that it's you're looking for a long-term relationship. You're looking to build trust. And you're looking actually also to build value because any relationship it's two-way. It's two-sided. They need to get something, you get something, and then it works out, I think, in the best way. And then, just really being honest and upfront about, what you're looking to do and being transparent about information and data. And those are things that we really believe in as a company.
So what is the price point for these license plates if we wanted to go out and get some?
Okay, at a dealership, if you buy it through a dealership, it will be $6.99 plus $99 for a year's connection fee, and then if you are a fleet, the price is $2.99, and then $19.99 a month. So that's the price point.
Excellent. Give us a little bit of background about yourself. How did you come into this space and start working on this?
Well, it's interesting. I had a couple companies before where we would develop campaigns for, say, Microsoft and Pepsi and, Moet Hennessy and Diageo and a lot of different, companies. And 2008 was, a very interesting time. And what I realized is that when the economy was kind of falling apart around us, I really had no control over what I was doing or what we could charge from a business standpoint. And I wanted to be in a business where, one, I actually was helping to move the needle in a very positive way, but also with a product that everybody needed. And, I had a good friend that was in state government in California, and we kept looking at, state-owned assets that were being underutilized, and we kept coming back to the license plate. It was something everybody needed, but the process was broken. And I thought I had a way of looking to fix it. So I literally asked him, I was like, do you know anybody at the DMV that I could actually talk to about this idea? And he knew the deputy director of legislation, a guy named Dennis Clear, and we met with him. And what I thought was going to be a 5-minute conversation ended up being an hour and a half. And I did the same thing with his counterpart at the CHP, and then started talking to state legislators, and then we were on our way. And it was the right time to be thinking outside of the box. And the thing is that as long as you really believed in what you were doing and were willing to put in the time, you could actually move the ball forward, and that's what's happened.
And that's when it all comes together like that, you've got something good.
yeah, we had something, and the thing is that we did it differently. We didn't build it and then try to force feed people what we built. We actually talked and thought and found out what would actually be legal to be on the road, and what was needed, and based on that information, we're able to develop a product that actually made sense and solved some real issues.
So through your journey with this, because it's been a relatively long journey, what are some of the biggest things that you've learned about technology in general, navigating a new company? Give us some insight.
Yeah, it's something. The biggest thing I learned is to be patient, and to be dedicated, and to be transparent. The thing with patience is that if you really believe in what you're doing, and you're really willing to put in the work and see it through, there will always be some success on the other side. When you give somebody your word that you're going to do something, or you're gonna create something, then you follow through with that, to the best of your ability, and then be willing to listen. I think a lot of times, people forget that they've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You've got to really hear what people are trying to say, and once you're able, it's true. You get to talking and you don't really listen, because if you're talking, you're not listening. And it's like, take time to actually ask a question, listen to the response, and then, take good feedback. I've been really fortunate because I've had really amazing mentors that have helped to guide me from a business standpoint. And, I was, not afraid to reach out to them and sit down and have conversations just to make sure that I was thinking through things the right way, and to think and learn to think more critically about what we were trying to accomplish.
That's fantastic. So, Neville, what is the best place for people to find out more about Reviver and to look at your license plates and potentially buy them? Yes,
I would go to www.r is the letter R, plate, rplate.com, and you'll find out, by putting in your, zip code, where, you can buy a plate, what dealerships we're working with. You'll find out information about the technology and the people that are, running the company. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for any information you need to know about, our plate.
Wonderful. Neville, thank you so much for joining us today and really sharing some insight into this exciting new company. And this product is pretty cool. I think you guys should all check it out, all of our listeners, because it's so unique.
Thank you so much. And anytime that you have any questions, please feel free to reach out anytime.
Thank you so much. That is Neville Boston. He is the CEO at Reviver Auto. This has been Juliette Lamar for Future Tech Podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review, to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.